In today's video, we're going to do a very simple follow along hip mobility routine. Now this routine is going to be suitable for most people. If you have hip impingement or perhaps hip arthritis, some of these exercises may not feel very comfortable, in which case you can skip or just not do any of this at all. So if anything causes any of you any pain, just stop and don't do it, move on, or just skip the whole routine itself. We're going to go through each exercise doing about 10 repetitions per exercise. I'm going to go through this once. If you want to do it again, just rewind the video and go through it again. In this routine, you will probably need something to hold on to. I've got a stick. I've also got a step behind me. You can substitute that for a stool or a chair, a sofa, anything that you can sit on that is just going to support you when you're in the bottom of certain exercises. So the first thing we're going to do is start warming up the hips. Before we start pushing any flexibility or any mobility, all I want you to do, holding onto something, is take your leg up and take it back, up and back. We're going to do 10 repetitions of this. 3, 4, don't worry about pushing the height, don't swing it, just keep it controlled. 7, and also my counting might not be great, so I do apologize in advance. Let's go 1 more. That's it, and now I shift to the other side. Just remember not to rush it. Don't swing it. Keep it controlled. 8, I think. 9 and 10. Now holding on to something, going back to the other side. We're going to go in and out. So we're going to go across. This will be working the outsides of your hips and also the inside of your thigh. 1 more. Okay, now we change sides. If you feel like your leg is going to cramp, then just don't push it quite as far. 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now going back to the first side, we're going to do hip rotations. So lift your leg up, take it out and down. Right now we're not pushing it into its maximal range. We're still just getting that hip warmed up. 5, 6, 7. You may find also as you come down, your hip starts to clunk. That's absolutely fine. Just keep your core engaged and just maybe try changing the ranges or changing the positions. Now we're going on to the other side. Clicking of the hips is fine, usually, unless it causes you pain. Anything that causes you pain, just stop. Just either reduce the range or just skip to the next exercise. 9, 1 more, 10. Okay, so now you're going to need a chair or a stool, something you can sit on. What we're going to do is start opening up the hips. We're going to do a wide squat. Quite often I like to hold on to something in front of me, like a door frame, or in a gym, like a squat rack. Use something behind you as well, that's gonna stop you going too far. So you'll see what I mean in a second. Take your legs reasonably wide, squat down. You can support your weight on your knees and just sink your hips. And then come back up. Come back down. We're gonna do 10 reps of this. So the chair is here so that you can find the right height. So right now I can feel a stretch going through my adductors. So I'm pushing my knees out and up. If you're holding on to something in front of you, then you can probably lean into it a little bit more, come down, using the thing that you're holding on to support you. So maybe you don't need a chair. 4. 5. 6. Again, don't push yourself into pain. It can be a bit uncomfortable down at the bottom of this range, which is fine, it's normal if you've got tight hips. 8. 9. 10. So now, sitting on your chair, we're going to start working the rotation through the hips. So we're going to start with internal rotation, so the thigh is rotating inwards. So take your feet out wide and roll your knee in, like you're trying to push it to the floor. Pause and up. Let's do all on one side to start with. As you come out, push your knee out as wide as it will go. So actively trying to push our hip as far into internal and as far into abduction and external rotation this way. Let's do 3 more. One more. And let's go on to the other side. So rotating that leg in, trying to push that knee down to the floor. Now, if you start feeling this in your knees, just don't push it so far, don't push it so hard. Just go with what feels right. If you can't feel it in your hip, the movement is fine. You don't have to always push the range. Sometimes just getting movement is enough to get things looser. Four. 6. 7. 8. 9. Let's go one more. 10. Now while we're here, let's stay here. And now we're going to bring one foot up onto the opposite knee. Normally in my other videos, I've done this exercise where I've pushed the knee down with my elbow. Today, we're not going to do that because we're actively trying to do this. So from here, you're going to push your knee down, push, 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 and then pull it up. 1, push it down, and up. That's 2. 3. As you're doing all of this, guys, just focus on breathing as well. I know there's a lot to take in, but breathing helps your body to relax. It's a bit difficult to do it while you're talking. But just sit there and just breathe out. It doesn't matter which way you breathe, in or out. I think that's about 7. Like I told you, it's not one of my strongest traits, counting while talking. But let's do one more. Down, up, and change. Now, if you find it quite difficult to get into that position, you can do it with a slightly straighter leg, perhaps holding it with a towel. For now, I'm just going to assume this is okay for most people, but you can also have a higher chair as well. That will also help. So, press that knee down. And up. This routine, guys, will be really good if you've got a stiff back as well. In my experience, most people with tight backs or back pain often have tight hips. So if you free up the hips, it helps to free up the back as well. 3, I think. 4. 6. Keep focus on that breathing. Let's do one more. Down. And up. Okay, so now we're going to need the support, and we're going to start pushing the range of our hip a little bit more this time. So we're going to do those hip circles again, but this time we're going to take them a little bit more into a bit more range. So lift that knee up as high as you can. Take it out as wide as you can. You can bring the other arm out just to keep it out of the way. And then take it down. You'll notice as you come down, you slightly rotate because you're trying to push that leg back. So up. We're only going to do 5 of these because this one's quite demanding. Take it back, 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 back. And in. 2. Up. Out. Rotate through that hip. Take it back. 2 more. Up. Most of you, including myself, will probably have relatively weak hip flexors. So as you're bringing that leg up, you'll probably feel it in your groin. Maybe feel a bit of trembling. And rest. Good. How are you feeling? Tough, or is it okay? Let me know in the comments how easy this is for you, and if you want me to progress it and take it further, make it harder. So bring that knee up, other side this time. Take that leg out, back and in, out, down. Was that 3 or 4? Let's just say that was 3. Let's do one more. My left hip is definitely tighter than my right. Oh, that's quite hard work. Okay, so there we have it, guys. That was a very simple follow along routine. Hopefully that didn't cause you any pain. If that was fine and you've got the energy to do it, go through and do a second round. And if you're feeling really brave, go through and do a third. Let me know in the comments how you found that, if it helped, and if you want me to keep progressing these mobility routines, make them progressively harder, or just vary the positions that we go into. But I think if you do that routine, say 2 to 3 times a week, it will really benefit you in your hips, your lower back, overall unlock your hips. We haven't particularly gone into some deep stretching just yet, but we will do. So until the next video, stay safe and I'll see you soon.